Alrighty, we are on Facebook Live and ready to go. So this is going to be another edition of KvCore Tips and Tricks with KvCore Specialist Mike Pritchard. Thanks for joining us again, Mike. Welcome back. Going to talk today about some more lead generation tips. So without further ado, Mike, whenever you're ready.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. So for those, hey, Tommy, would you do me a favor? Can you allow me to share screen?
Absolutely. Yep, you should be good now.
Awesome. Perfect. Let me hop in here to my KvCore real fast. So for those that don't know me, my name is Mike Pritchard. I'm the owner of Sinisure Real Estate Solutions. We're one of the preferred partners with Location on helping agents kind of maximize their KvCore usage and really be able to just get in here and start going to work. So over the summer, we've been teaching a few classes on different lead generation tactics, things that we can do within this system to make KvCore work for us versus us work for it. So I figured we kind of keep up the theme on that, talk a little bit about a few different strategies that we can take. I believe in our last call, we talked about squeeze pages and landing pages, and we talked about property boosts in the past. Today I'm going to start off and I'm going to talk a little bit about text codes. There's a really cool function if you guys, has anyone ever used a text code in the past? You guys ever had text codes on your writers or on your signs or anything like that? If you haven't, it's a really cool little system in here. You come down here to the lead engine tab. And there is an option, if I can find it. There we go. Over here on your call capture button, it's a place where we can actually leverage the smart number in our KvCore account to generate some leads for us. Okay, and everyone is going to have a smart number, and bear with me, my KvCore is taking a second to update. Everyone has a number associated with your KvCore account or your particular office. Okay. So this is mine. I'm over in Austin, Texas. So this is what shows up for me. But I can take that number and I can leverage this to send out specific information. So depending upon what you want to go after, and I actually just worked with a young lady out in Georgia where we actually created a custom text code to help her with getting the information out about home values. So with all of her listings, she's got a couple of writers. She has one writer with the text code to send information about the specific listing, but she's also got another writer that she uses to encourage people in the area, in the neighborhood, to request an evaluation on their home. So she's leveraging the "What is your home worth" feature within KvCore. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys a little bit about that because I thought that was a really cool way to kind of get out there and start pushing for some listing-based business. I know we talk so much about buyer leads, within this platform that sometimes we can forget about going after that listing-based audience. Okay, so I'm going to pop open. I'm actually going to go to a Location website. I think this is the site. Because you guys have a little bit of a different CMA tool than I do. This is one of your agents. I'm going to click on "What is your home worth?" and I want this link. Okay, so I'm going to use this when I build out my text code if we wanted to build something around a seller-based listing system. Okay, and I have the ability to come in and create a custom text code, and this particular account has a ton of text codes in it, so bear with me. But I'm going to click on Add New, and I'll do something like Ask Vito. Since I don't have an MLS number here, I'm going to skip that. I'm going to paste in the link that I want to send someone to. And if I were leveraging some of the automated systems within KvCore, like if I had a campaign that was built for farming or for seller follow-up, I could add that hashtag in right here so that whenever the lead comes back, it's going to automatically send over the information. and then I'm going to put in or use my smart number, and this would be mine. Okay. So when I save this, if I were to text 512-969-6173 and put in the custom code ask Vito, what it's going to do on my side, and I'm not plugged in with my phone so I can't share the screen with you, it would take me directly to this place where I can type in my home, my address, and request an estimate. And there, I'm going to get my lead to drop in to my dashboard. I now have a new address that I can chase down. Okay. If they want more information at that point in time, they can reach out to me directly. If they want a more up-to-date evaluation, they can get in touch with me. But I've at least got the address that they entered in that they're looking for. I can take that address and I can now go and research who owns that property and put them on some sort of a farm campaign where I can follow up with them consistently. Okay. Tommy, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you guys are working on a particular source for information right now, right? I think are you guys working with Cole Realty?
Yeah, we're about to roll that out on Friday, actually.
Oh, fantastic. So when that rolls out, guys, I would highly recommend that you take a look into it. I've worked with Cole Realty for a couple of years now. They've got great information, but basically what they'll do is you know, one of your options may be to be able to get homeowner contact information. Okay? There are other systems that are out there, but if you guys are going to get a corporate discount through this, or you guys are introducing them as a partner, I would definitely jump in with that. Okay. If you want a listing-based business, which is what I would encourage, if you list to last in this business, this is a great way to get that information out there. And then I would leverage KvCore. And I did a class on this a couple of months ago, and we can schedule it again. I would actually take the owner's information and I would drop them into an automated farming campaign and get some information out to them on a consistent basis, get them start thinking about selling their house where they might not have been thinking about that before. But this text code idea is something that, again, I've got an agent out in Georgia. She's got a secondary writer on her sign that says, hey, if you're interested in knowing what your home is worth, text here. Okay, and she asks for permission from her listing clients, of course. And then she's got one that she built out specifically for information on the property. And that's the one that's more prominent. That's the big one that's up at the top of her signs. Okay. And you can do the same thing with that text code. You guys will all have a personal text code, so you can actually just use this one. Okay. But I would also maybe come in and create a custom text code with the address. 123 Main Street. Type in your MLS ID. I would put in a link to the property, and I would use your KvCore link. I would not use the link from the MLS. Okay. This MLS ID, actually, you know what? This MLS ID should be sending that information over for you directly, anyways. So maybe type in a reply message. Thank you for your request. Call me if you have questions. Okay. And then since this is a buyer-based lead, if you're using automation to follow up with your leads, add your hashtag in to launch whatever campaign system that you want. And again, you select your smart number. And when someone texts 123 Main Street, they're going to get the information about that listing ID. It'll drop a link in there for them. And it'll also say, thank you for your request. Call me if you have any questions. And so this is one thing that you guys can do right now with your active listings or with some of your marketing to get out there and start running, running some new lead gen. I know we got some questions coming in. Hang on. FYI, if you don't know, MLS IDs in KvCore are without the hyphen. Tripped me up for a while. Hey, great tip. Thank you very much, Billy. I didn't know that about your area. All right. So one other thing real quick, since we're on codes, there is a feature called QR codes. They've been around for a long time. If you never use one, they're probably getting pretty popular with your restaurant menus. I know a lot of restaurants in my area have stopped handing out menus, and they now have little QR stickers on the edge of the table that you can scan with your phone to get the same information as you would if you were to type in a text code. Okay. Most phones are auto-equipped with a QR reader now. So instead of having to go into an app, you literally just go and you hover over it with your camera, and it will pop up the info. But if you've got a listing that you want to market, basically just come in here, grab your listing. This is a nice one, $1.6 million. And I can come over here and I can generate a QR code for this, okay? And this is the only QR code generator within KvCore. It can only be done on properties, okay? And I know we've talked about this in the past with property boosts. You guys have permission to boost and advertise other agents' listings within location, okay? Tommy, would you say that this is the same deal? Is it okay for your agents? Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool. So if you wanted to do some advertisement on another property and say just put something up on Facebook. I mean, on Facebook, I would be doing this, and I would be using the links, and I would drop a link on Facebook and just post it out. But let's say you're doing an open house. Say I'm going to hold open this Kenwood property. Instead of me doing a flyer that's going to get handed out to everybody at my sign-in station, I would have one flyer in the plastic tents with this QR code. So if somebody wanted to hold on to the information about the property while they're signing in, they could snap a picture of this QR code, and it would send them a digital flyer. Okay. While all that's happening, should be gathering their contact information and shooting your leads back over to your KvCore account. Okay. So those are two little quick things that I hadn't talked about before. Little ideas that you can use for increasing your lead capture at your open houses, potentially getting some more listing-based business in your neighborhoods where your signs are already at. It's getting out there and start working those types of business. All right, so one of the other things that I've been getting a lot of questions about recently is the marketplace in Facebook or in KvCore. What does this mean? Okay, well, the marketplace is basically the spot where you're going to be able to come in and buy certain add-ons for KvCore. I work with something in the neighborhood of 4,000 KvCore users across the country, and I see this pop up on the forums quite often. You know, which ones are worth me buying and what's not? And I'll tell you that's a relative question because it really depends on what you want to do with your KvCore accounts. Okay? I'm going to start off with the very first one here that I'm seeing, the Core Team add-on. And I know that we've got a lot of teams within location. Depending upon the analytics and how you run your team, this may be a very, very valuable add-on for you. Okay. Now it does cost a little bit of money. Depending upon the size of your team, it's going to run anywhere from $400 to $800. Okay. Your super teams, agents up to 50. This is where you need this one. You got less than 15 people. This one works just fine. But what this does is this is going to superpower your analytics page. It gives you a little bit more control over the people that are on your team. You can track performance. You can see what they're doing. Who's calling their leads on time, who's not following up with tasks, etc. How are your lead sources performing? Okay, you guys can do this on an individual basis right now, but if you're running a team, especially if you're buying leads for your team, this may be something that is extremely valuable for you. I coach probably 50 teams across the country. All the ones that are using KvCore, I've encouraged that they actually take the time and spend the money and purchase that bolt-on. That way they can really track the performance of their team and decide how they're going to continue to distribute leads if they're buying leads. Okay. Guys, if you have questions along the way, whether it's about this or something else in KvCore, please let me know. Either type them into the chat box or, I don't particularly mind if you unmute yourself and ask. Okay. All right. Now, another one that I get questions on quite a bit is this smart number add-on. What is this? Okay. Now, everyone in your office is going to have the same smart number. Each office will probably have its own dedicated smart number. Let me talk to you about the functionality of this real quick, and then you can decide whether you want to buy your own Vanity smart number or not. Okay. If somebody is in your KvCore platform already, so your leads, if you upload your database into the system, which guys, I highly encourage you. If you're using KvCore, please upload your database into the system. The system is only good if you have people in it, okay? So if they're in your database already, they're in the system already, or they're coming through your lead generation systems, KvCore can recognize when they respond to the automated text, or if you're texting from KvCore, or if you're using the dialer app within KvCore to make your phone calls. KvCore is going to recognize who that person is and who they're assigned to. Okay. So if you're using your database correctly, I do encourage that you actually make your phone calls through KvCore, especially if you're using the automated smart campaigns. Those campaigns, all those texts are coming out from this smart number. The way I reference this with my clients, I don't ever call it a smart number because no one outside of KvCore knows what the heck that means. But this is my office line. Everyone's familiar with an office line, right? So my office line just happens to be connected to my database, and it also happens to be connected to my cell phone. Okay. Now, one of the main differences is I don't put this office number on any of my marketing material, like my website, my Facebook page, my business cards. If I'm using the standard office smart number, I don't want to put that out there to the world, because if somebody picks up my card and they call my office line and they're not assigned to me yet, they're not already in my database, then depending upon how the system is set up, that could end up routing over to your office or other agents within your market center. Depends on how location has that turned on. So if you really want to put that number on marketing materials, that's where your Vanity Smart number is going to come into play for you. Okay. So,
and Mike, real quick, just on that topic, I've actually had some questions about that recently. Some agents concerned with that showing up on like some of the property boost ads that they do, thinking that somebody on Facebook is going to see that number, and if they decide to call that number, that they might get routed to another agent based on a property boost ad that they're paying for it. Can you explain that a little bit, or if that's the case?
Yeah. So if you are when you're doing a property boost, that number shows up on your website. So in order for the if that person were to call that line, they've already been registered to you as the agent. So they're not going anywhere else. So if you're spending money on advertising, KvCore can recognize whose ad it is. And when someone just calls that office line, it will have required them to put in their contact information to be able to see it anyways. So that person's already assigned to the agent that did the boost. Does that make sense?
Yes. So, I mean, where do they even see that number? Do they not even see that number until they've clicked and their information is already into the system anyway?
That's correct. They can't, They're not really going to be able to see that information until they've actually registered. If you go into, if you've done a property boost, like here, I'll pop up my website real fast. And I'm just going to click on a house real quick so I can show you guys what's going on. Scroll down here. Let's use this one first. Guys, it's just a test account that I use. But basically, at this point in time, all of this stuff is kind of blacked out and grayed out in the background. Okay? So in order for them to be able to see the information on the house, when they click on this, it's actually going to pop up a little window. You'll notice all this stuff is gray in the back right now, because I had this other window in place. 1 second. Lost the top where I can X out of that. Dang it. There we go. So in order for them to get through to this information, they would actually have to register in order to be able to do that. But even if they could see it and they called the phone number that was up there, if that was your smart line, then because your ad itself, this lead is still assigned to you somewhat because of your ad spend. At least that's the way it's been explained to me through KvCore. But they really shouldn't even be able to see your smart number until they've registered.
Yeah, that's the way I understand it too. I just wanted to make sure.
Let's see. I know we had a question that came in, but when you advertise on Craigslist, that also happens, meaning KvCore knows it's my lead because the number in the ad is the office smart number. So Craigslist can be a little bit different. I haven't done a Craigslist ad in a little while, mainly because in my area, it's primarily going to be renter-based leads that are responding, or potentially investor-based business. With the Craigslist ads, I don't want to lie to you and tell you that it's the exact same thing, just because I haven't done it in a while. But it should know, because you're using your Craigslist extension, or the extension with Chrome, and it's going through your KvCore account, it should be assigning those people back to you.
And I thought I heard from somebody recently that you can change that number as it shows up on a Craigslist ad, but I could be mistaken.
So there's a spot in your profile. So in my profile, I've actually changed the smart number, or the number that appears up here. I changed that phone number to my cell phone.
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody to do.
Mm-hmm. So in my details, there's a little button that clicks up here, and when I go in and edit my settings, there's a little option that says show this on the website. You do need to click this, or the only number that will appear on your website is your smart number. Okay, so I do recommend this. I have my cell phone number that appears up there. That way I'm fully protected. But at the same time, KvCore is really intuitive software. The times where I see people call a smart number and get routed in directly is when I've seen agents drop it on their business cards, or that's the phone number that they have displayed on their Facebook accounts. That's like the primary place where I have seen a smart number lead go to the wrong person. It's because we put it in a spot that's highly visible and doesn't require that person is tracked in any way, shape, or form. Okay. And Monica, yeah, so on your Craigslist ads, you changed it on your ad. Gotcha. Okay. All right, now, if you guys really want to get into it and you really want something that's more personalized for you, you can certainly purchase the Smart Number add-on. It's $27 a month, and they're going to require that you commit to at least 90 days. I know quite a few agents across the country that have done this. One of the main reasons I see people purchase this add-on is because of where they live. If they are in a different area code than, say, the one that's assigned for their office. I got a group out in California that I'm working with. They're up in the San Jose area, but they're all given a Sacramento number because that's where their closest office is at. Well, evidently people in Sacramento don't like people in San Jose, and vice versa. So they've all requested Vanity Smart Numbers. They're willing to pay the $27 a month so that they can appear to be more hyperlocal agents. The hyperlocality of it is probably the one thing that I recognize as a truly valid reason for purchasing this Smart Number add-on. Okay. Cool. So let's hop into to some of the lead generation stuff. Hey, Tommy, real quick, I had a question about Core Listing Machine and social for location accounts. Is this hooked up for you guys right now? It looks like I know for my account it's hooked up. Are you guys using this Core Listing Machine?
Yes, it's an additional add-on through us that we have to activate for them individually.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. This is a really cool system. I love this. I actually have this posting ads and articles to my Facebook page for me. So I don't have to think about it. I don't have to go and look for content. I just have it all posting out through my KvCore account. Okay. And the setup process is really simple. It takes about 5 minutes to get this thing hooked up once you have the add-on. But I've got this generating articles every 24 hours for me. So, and I've got it set up to post things like DIY tips, financial news information. I've got housing market updates that are in there. I've got a few fun things like travel, and I think I've even I might have removed the food articles. But I've got things that are primarily related to the real estate business, and I've also got it set up to automatically post new listings for Okay, so you can set this up to where it posts listings. I think the listings will go out 7 days a week if you want it to. And then you've also got the articles that you can post up to 4 days a week. Okay, I set my areas, so I'm not posting listings just from random listings in my brokerage. I have it set to specific areas that I want to service. And I know that we had a chat that just popped in here real quick. Let's see here. Tommy, do you know if there's an additional cost for you guys?
Yes, it's $35 a month for the add-on, for the core listing add-on.
Gotcha. And another question, just personal listings or all? It is all listings. So it's not just going to be the ones that you have on the market. It will automatically post your listings, but it's also going to look for other location listings that are in your area. And when it publishes those links, if they click on them, that generates a lead for you. Okay. And guys, if this is $35 a month, this is one of the best investments that you can make. $35 to not have to think about this and have brand growth ads going out to your Facebook page for you. This is huge. There are several articles that I've come across that Core Listing has posted for me that I was actually able to do some engagement ads on and see some good activity happening on my business page. Okay, so primarily the ones that I'll post are going to be more of like the financial type articles that post or reasons people are moving to Austin. It is going to look for information that is more relatable to your market centers versus the nationwide. If it can't find anything, then it's going to go broader. Okay. Let's see here, Dorothy. Do you need circle picks to do this core listings? Yes, you would need the it's one tool called Listing Machine and Social. There you go. Or circle. There. That. Awesome. So, my opinion, first things to invest in would definitely be this. Great add-on, saves you a lot of time, and this will post out to a lot of the social media platforms. So specifically Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. If it's posting to your Facebook and your Instagram is attached to your Facebook, which it should be, then it'll also be pushing stuff out to your Instagram page. There you go. I love it. Sign me up. Okay, so let's talk about some other lead gen here real quick. Google display branded retargeting. We've also got pay-per-click ads and Facebook AI advertising and retargeting. Guys, if you are interested in really jumping into lead generation strategies and leveraging online systems, but you're not necessarily great at the Facebook algorithm or what keywords to choose, or you just flat out don't have the time, KvCore has a full-time advertising system department that does nothing but work on algorithms and pixels and all the other good things that are in here. And if we have enough time, I'm going to show you guys real quick how to leverage your Facebook pixel. If not, we might save that for the next class. But these three systems are great for being able to hand off your lead generation to KvCore if you want to. Okay. I'm going to start by talking about the Facebook AI advertising and retargeting and the differences between Google and Facebook ads. I know we had some chats that popped in. Let me just check on those real quick. Let's see. Did you see Instagram? Okay, no, it does not do Instagram. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so there is a difference between the types of clients that are going to click on a Facebook ad and then these Google display branded ads, okay? I don't ever like to say leads have a higher quality or a lesser quality. Every lead is a good lead. It's just depending upon your follow-up systems and the expectations you have around it. Facebook is more of a distraction-based marketing platform. Okay, so when you're running ads on Facebook, you're basically hoping that someone's going to see whatever it is that's being advertised as they're scrolling through their feed. It's going to speak to them and they're going to click on it. Now, with the algorithm, we can get more targeted and we can look for people that are actually in the market and have a higher likelihood to click. That's a part of why Facebook advertising is so popular. but it's still distraction based. Now, Google-based marketing, this all revolves around people that are searching for specific keywords, okay? Or they have visited your website, and we want to have, we want to have these people that, every time they're in Google, we want, they've been to one of our pages somewhere. We want our face to continue to follow them. That's retargeting, okay? Facebook AI and retargeting, we're still doing the same concept. We want them to, every time they're in Facebook, we want our ad to pop up. We want to follow them wherever they go. So these two ad techniques, they're similar in how they actually work, but the intention behind the clients can be a little bit different, and your results can be a little bit different. Facebook AI and retargeting, generally speaking, you will get more leads for your money, but they might not be as far down the funnel. With Google pay-per-click, people that are actually searching based on keywords, they are typically further down the funnel. They had to go to Google, they had to type in a real estate related keyword, then they had to go to a website and click on properties. Here, they just had to scroll through their feed. Okay? So the cost on these guys is going to be a little bit different as well. Typically, unless they've made a change, we'll check it out here. Usually you're going to start at $250 a month. Okay? And it's going to require that you sign up for at least 3 months. Google, unless they've made a change recently, this was a minimum $500 per month. And again, you had to commit to 90 days. I will tell you this, if you do the Google pay-per-click, they do make a recommendation that you don't require phone numbers for registration. I personally don't agree with that. For me, I would rather have less leads and more information than more leads and less information. Does that make sense? All right, let me check out these chats here real quick. Okay. All right, so it looks like we're still chatting about circle picks. Okay. So any questions about Facebook, AI, the retargeting, or Google pay-per-click? The differences? I can give you my personal experience. I've done Facebook AI and retargeting ads. I actually had really good response from my area. I did this when I was living up in a little bit more of a rural suburb of Dallas. So where I was advertising at, I gave them 3 zip codes. I was looking at a small town called Azle, which is where I was living. We were right on the water on one of the lakes out there. An area that was up and coming called Weatherford, kind of had a historic downtown vibe with a lot of acreage and some college stuff outside of it. And then another place called Aledo, which had a brand new hospital and a high-tech, very energy efficient new neighborhood that was going in, that the average price point was right around 700, 800K, which in that area is pretty high. The ads or the leads that I were getting back in, a lot of those folks were very, very specific in moving out to those locations. So it worked great for me. I was getting somewhere in the neighborhood. I was spending about $500 a month. It's getting anywhere between 50 and 65, 70 leads every month. And then with my automated follow-up systems, this was a program that I was able to have conversations with roughly a third of them. Now, not all of those conversations were favorable in regards to, hey, let's continue talking, but I was at least getting very, very high response rates. I hear the same thing for my agents that are doing this in major metropolitan areas. About every $250 should get you somewhere around 30, 35 leads, okay? You may be able to do something similar with your property boosting. I know a lot of my guys that are doing boosting, which requires them taking more time. And there is less retargeting unless you use your pixels. It was, about every $60 you can generate yourself anywhere from 15 to 20, 25 leads. So you have to spend a little bit more time on it unless you come in here and do the AI ads. So Billy here, $500 a month, and what did you get with Google? There are 2 different choices on KvCore. I did not personally do the the Google pay-per-click ads. I've got a team right now that I work with up in DFW that does this one, the Google pay-per-click. They're spending about $1,000 a month on PPC leads, and for that $1,000 a month, they're getting somewhere in the neighborhood of, oh God, I have to check back in with them, but somewhere in the neighborhood like 100 to 150 leads. So they're getting a lot of leads, but they just made a change, and this is why I say, you know, I would definitely require that they that KvCore requires phone numbers on these leads, because they were getting a lot more leads, but just nothing but email addresses. So they weren't making contact. The leads were ignoring the email attempts except for property alerts. So they just made a change about a month and a half ago to require phone numbers. So I need to check and see what their new average is. But they're having a lot more connections with those leads at the moment. So even though they're getting less right now, they're having stronger connections. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of what we found, because we were doing both Facebook advertising and pay-per-click on Google for a while at the company level and sending them out through our company lead referral program. And that's kind of what we found was that the Facebook, you kind of got a few more, but the quality wasn't as good. Google was a little bit less, but they were a little bit more active and a little bit higher quality and engaging.
Exactly. So for my money, depending upon what my ad budget is, I would go Google pay-per-click over the Facebook AI. If you have less of a marketing budget, this might be a good place for you to start until you start building up some closings off of those leads, and then make a switch or add in the addition. Okay, so one of the other ones that I'm getting a lot of questions on across the country is this core voicemail drop. Anybody ever heard of Slide Dial, or have you ever used a system like Slide Dial? So if you haven't, basically what Slide Dial is a way for you to drop a direct voicemail to a lead. So it kind of bypasses the phone call stage and it just leaves a voicemail. I know several people across the country that are using this to great success. And basically they have integrated this into their automated campaigns. So as leads come in, they'll have a voicemail go out. They have an automated text that goes out. They have a voicemail that goes out either right before or right after it. And then they have a follow-up text that goes out a couple minutes later. Okay, it says, hey, I just left you a voicemail. It's a way that you can automate that human connection point. So there are definitely uses for it. I don't necessarily want to detract from it. I personally, when I get slide dialed and I have a voicemail just show up in my phone, I always immediately jump to what's wrong with my phone. Why didn't I get the phone call? But that's just me personal. Their plans are actually pretty reasonable. So if this is something that you're going to use, especially if you're doing a lot of lead generation, you know, I would recommend starting off with at least this 250 voicemail plan. Okay, especially if you're going to build this into campaigns. If this is something that you would want to test out, obviously try this one. All right, so a couple of other ones here. Anybody doing direct mail, snail mail postcards? If you are, thanks.io is a place where you can actually set up for the stylized handwritten cards versus just the standard text. So they kind of look like this. Okay. So you can do just listed, just solds. That one that just flashed across the page had a text code on it. Okay. And so there's another way that you can do that there. There is a system in here where you can actually tie back certain people through something called a webhook. And if we have enough time in a future class, I'll talk about that. But basically, you can set this up as a campaign step so that when you hit certain places in the campaign, you can actually have this thanks.io drop a quote unquote handwritten postcard to that person for you. So there are definitely some uses for it. And I'm not entirely familiar on the pricing here, so let's go take a look real fast. Looks like we're 49 cents with postage. Letters are a little bit more expensive. Depending upon the size of your postcard, you're going to look at anywhere from, looks like 50 cents up to right about 90. Let's see here. If
How about like the core video with Bomb Bomb? Have you heard anything about that? Anybody having success with that? I know they were super
absolutely
excited on releasing it, but I haven't really heard much about it since.
So I've been waiting on Core Video. I've been waiting on this integration for 2 years. This is probably my favorite thing in the entire world when it comes down to automation, or to KvCore, I should say. This is one of the very first places that I would spend my money if I'm going to buy add-ons. It would be this and the core listing machine and social. Okay. Basically, what we're doing, or if you purchase this, if you buy the premium, you're basically buying a KvCore Bomb Bomb account. Now, there's two versions of this. There is the core, the free core video, the one that's already included for you guys. This plan basically will give you 10 video emails per month. Okay, they're single-use videos, okay, so you have to record them on the fly. You can only do 10 per month, and then you gotta wait. You cannot pre-record a video, and you don't really have any ability to track whether or not they're open or the analytics on those messages. Now, the premium version will allow you unlimited video messaging, not just emails, but text. And the text part of this is where you get your value. You can also pre-record messages. You can add them into your campaigns. And you can also get the analytics will be coming soon on this, where you can actually track their opens and did they actually play the video and not just open your email. Okay, they're working on that part right now. Where I have seen this come into play, especially for my clients that we got their campaign set up, where my system tells them to make a phone call on their leads and with their past clients, they're doing a core video drop. They're actually recording a quick Bomb Bomb video and shooting it out via text. Guys, one thing to consider with, especially if you're doing lead generation, you're not real until they see you face to face. The text messages that come out, you know, we all get those robotic canned text messages. Happens all the time. I don't know about you guys, but I probably get about 5 robo-dial calls a day, at least. So I've gotten to the point where if you're not in my phone, I don't answer. I'll let you leave a voicemail, and if it's important, I'll call you back on, when I have my next break in between sessions. But when someone sends me a video, even if I have my volume turned all the way down, I'll at least look at it and see if they're a real person or what that video is about. Same thing with what I'm going to think about when you're scrolling through your Facebook feed. So as you're kind of scrolling through, how much more likely are you to stop on a video message versus just a picture versus a text-based post? So people we're attracted to motion. It's just how our eyes work. So using a video message versus just a text or a phone call and a voicemail, this has increased my agents' conversion rates on their leads dramatically in the short period of time that it's been out. This just launched at the beginning of summer. They did a free trial last month. So now is the first month where people are actually having to pay for this. Guys, this is well worth the $30 investment. If you're buying leads especially, spend $30 and go out and add this to your account. And try adding in a few video text messages versus just making phone calls or just using texting. Billy, opinions. Is it creepy to video text a prospect on your first contact? For me, I'm going to say no. And here's why. I just spent a lot of money on that lead. I don't care if it's creepy or not. If it's creepy, unsubscribe. I'd rather have the response of an unsubscribe than nothing at all. But go back to the psychology behind it. Thinking about how much automation is involved in our world now. And your message doesn't have to be creepy. So Billy, I guess I would go there. Let's make sure our message isn't creepy. You know, if I were to get a video text, so let's say I'm a consumer and I click on a property and I got a text message from you. Hey, you know, it's Billy. Saw you're on my website. I'll call you soon, whatever. And then if you followed that up with something that actually introduced me to a real person, I would probably be much more likely to respond to you, even if it was to tell you to go away. But when I see your face and I see your eyes, I know you're a real human being. It's harder for me to ignore a human being. You shoot me a text message, I don't have to respond to that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I completely agree. Everybody wants to see your face, so.
Yeah.
Eventually they're going to anyway, as long if you're going to do business with them, so might as well get it out there.
I think I totally see that pathway. Absolutely huge value if someone's searching my website or looking anything related to that and they get a video. I totally get that. I think what I'm asking is like literally prospecting. They've not done anything my way yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they haven't even searched a property. Is it weird? Is it creepy and weird to kind of send a text message video, even if it's personalized, you say their name? Is that just weird and inappropriate?
All right, so let's take that down to the next pathway. So I'm assuming that you're talking about maybe doing like circle prospecting or maybe some more kind of a stylized farm.
Yeah, like even you know, prospecting for listings and
Mm-hmm.
Really honestly, I'm really talking about equity farming that we've talked about before.
So here's a really good idea for you, and this is something that I would do every day, all day. So I wouldn't necessarily maybe record a personal message for the first one going out saying, "Hey Bob, it's Billy." But if I'm going to go and farm a neighborhood, what I might do is go out to that neighborhood and pre-record a video message, maybe out by the listing sign, like by the neighborhood entrance or by the amenity center. Hey, it's Billy. You know, I got clients that are interested in moving to the area, but I don't know if you know this or not, but there's not a lot of inventory in the market and property prices are drastically on the rise. If you have any interest in knowing what the value of your home is worth, why don't you give me a call? Or I'm going to be sending some information to you via email over the next couple of weeks. If you're interested in knowing more, reach out to me. So there's now a connection for you and that community. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I might go down
like
that pathway for someone that's a pure prospect.
Yeah, that's helpful. That's I mean, I've just been thinking about it, and I'm just trying to, you know, think of the audience side and not weird them out right away. Right away, if that's too weird.
Yeah. Now, Billy, I wouldn't say, hey, if I got a message from Vanessa, that's my favorite name in the world. Don't go down that route. But you know, if you can connect it back to them in one way, shape, or form, and make it a little bit more personal, I think that's where you're going to have that human element that comes in. Because also think about what's going on in the world today and how disconnected we've been from other people for so long. The human psyche right now, most of us are craving human interaction. So having some of that back and forth, I think, could be very, very useful. And this is where that KvCore video, the buy-on, the add-on, will make it well worth the $30 a month. Dorothy, I worry about viruses with text links. So here's the cool part about the core video integration. It's no longer a link. So we've been able to drop a BombBomb link or a different video link into our text messages for a long time. But with this video drop, we now get a thumbnail image that's got the little play triangle on it. And we've all kind of been ingrained. Especially if you're a little bit of a younger demographic, we've been using YouTube for a long time. YouTube is our new Google, right? Well, everything on YouTube's got that little red play triangle. I don't know about you guys, but every time I see a red play triangle, I got to click it. So it's changed the dynamic of how these video messages are displayed. So at least with my coaching clients, the people that I work with across the country, they're seeing a lot more people that have actually watched the video and have either responded via text saying, hey, I'll be available here, or, I'm actually not interested. I was just looking, poking around for my sister or whatever, versus the no response that they were getting beforehand. So Dorothy, hopefully that helps in regards to the worry about the virus side. You won't be the only person. You're not gonna, even with this, you're not going to bat 1,000. Not everyone's going to open your video message. You are going to get unsubscribes. People are going to go away. Billy, you will get those people that are like, yeah, that was weird. Don't ever do that again. It'll be there. It's going to happen. Okay, but I believe in our society today, it's a lot less likely. We'll at least get some more response. And if you're buying leads, if you're investing in a farm, I'd rather have some response than no response. Okay. All right, so the last one that I'm going to talk about in here is vanity domain add-ons. I get this question a lot because everyone has their KvCore link. Okay, like so. This or your location.re.com. Is it worth it to buy a real vanity domain add-on and actually change your domain completely to something different? To me, it really depends on how much money you are spending on your brand and how far along you are into your branding. I have a little bit of OCD, so for me, it might be worth it. I really don't use my KvCore website for anything except for testing these days. So it's not worth it there, but I do own about 15 domain names that I use to point my business in various directions. So with most hosting services, you can accomplish some of this at no cost, where you own your domain through, say, GoDaddy, and then you can point it to your KvCore website, okay? And they'll come here. And at this point in time, most consumers, they're not going to look back up at this URL bar. Okay. Now, if you are spending a lot of money to build a brand presence, and you really want to make sure that that brand presence stays true and consistent, then what KvCore is asking for at, I believe it's $11 a month, is not really much to balk at. This is a fairly minimal charge if you are spending time, effort, and energy on your brand. Okay, so I don't want to tell you don't do it, but I know that I can accomplish most of what I want for free. The one thing you cannot do when you're pointing a domain to KvCore, and this is why they have this subscription, is you cannot point your domain with what's called masking. Okay. A lot of websites we can do that, but there are certain security certificates that are built into KvCore that when you try to mask the domain, it can affect that. So they want to make sure that whoever gets pointed into the KvCore website can actually see the site. So they control all of those settings on the back end, and that's why they require this $11 per month subscription to have your domain show up in this field versus your location.re.com account. Okay. So probably the ones that I really recommend purchasing, especially right off the bat, Core Video for sure, and Listing Machine and Social for sure. These are well worth the $65 a month that it would cost you. This will automate a lot of your social media marketing, so you don't have to think about it. This is going to increase your conversion ratio, not only with leads and with your prospects, but your past clientele. If we've already done business together and you send me a quick little video, I'm for sure watching it. And most likely I'm going to call you back. Okay. Those two for sure. And then depending upon your marketing budget, I would either be doing property boosts on a regular basis where you have to actually put in the time and go and find the house, or purchase some retargeting ads, some pay-per-click and some retargeting. Well, I've got a few more minutes before I have to hop into my next coaching call. Do you guys have any questions I can answer for you?
All good on my end. Thanks again, Mike. Always appreciated. This was great. nobody has any more questions, we can just go ahead and wrap it up. And we will see you again. Mike, we'll see you next month, and everybody else. We do have a couple other trainings coming up this week, and if you are interested in Cole Realty, we have that coming up Friday. Also, as a reminder, Mike does offer his services at a very discounted rate to location agents. You can find all his information on the Sphere under the Cynosure Real Estate Solutions link. And all of his pricing, as well as the services he offers, are on there. Or like he just put in there, his website, take a look there. But again, thanks so much, Mike, and we will see everybody later.
Thanks, Mike.
Absolutely my pleasure, guys. See y'all next week, or see y'all next month.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.